This is the BBC World Service, and on the food chain this week,
millions of Ukrainians remain far away from home as the war with Russia continues. I'm Ruth Alexander, and I've been talking to two families displaced by the conflict as they reflect on their second year away from loved ones and the solace home cooking can provide.
the food chain, today at 11:30 and 23:30 GMT. At bbcworldservice.com, The Explanation with Claire Graham.
BBC correspondent Amir Nader joins me to talk about BRICS, the economic bloc featuring Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. That's about to at least double in size in the new year.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
This is Unexpected Elements, the show that brings you the science behind the news.
Well, that's what we normally do, but actually this episode is having a look back at the best bits from the last year. There will be some of this.
When there's a polar bear sighting, you have the local police who puts on a siren on their car and drives around till the polar bear leaves.
And some of this.
That marble grew out to be what we see, the whole observable universe, which is now 94 billion light years in size or something.
A little bit of this.
The wasp essentially uses its stinger to sort of come up from underneath and weave its way into the brain.
Even a bit of this.
Antibiotics is like a bomb. Phages are like a sniper.
And this. Terry, have you ever eaten glue for science?
Of course.
That's coming up on Unexpected Elements after this.
I'm Debbie Russ with the BBC News. Hello. China has urged its nationals in the Law Kai district in northern Myanmar along the Chinese border to evacuate as soon as possible. It said this was due to a surge in fighting between Myanmar's military and rebel groups. Celia Hatton reports.
The Chinese embassy in Myanmar said the safety risks for people in the northern Law Kai district had escalated due to fighting between three ethnic rebel groups and Myanmar's military. One group, the MNDAA, is aiming to capture Law Kai town, a notorious gambling center that's run by a militia loyal to Myanmar's junta. The rebel group alliance has already seized several trading towns and military outposts along China's border, presenting the biggest challenge to Myanmar's ruling junta since it seized power in a coup almost 3 years ago.
UN's human rights chief has said the situation in the occupied West Bank is rapidly deteriorating and urged Israel to end what he called unlawful killings against the Palestinian population. Volker Turk said the use of military tactics and disproportionate force and movement restrictions affecting broad numbers of Palestinians were extremely troubling. Amnesty International has accused the Indian authorities of continuing to unlawfully target journalists by putting invasive spyware on their iPhones. In the most recent investigation, the rights group found evidence of the Israeli-developed Pegasus spyware on the phone of a prominent editor. The government has neither confirmed nor denied using spyware. Here's Ambarisan Rajan.
For the last few years, several journalists have been complaining about how their phones were acting bizarrely when later on an analysis found out that there were traces of this Pegasus software. So basically it takes control of your messages and your photographs, your contacts, and it can also trigger the video camera and monitor all kinds of communication. Imagine if you are an investigative journalist working on a story against the government and you are trying to talk to one of the government sources or a whistleblower or any other activist on the ground. So that can be known to security agencies.
Police in South Korea have been defending their conduct of a drug investigation into the actor Lee Sang-gyun after he was found dead in his car. It's emerged the actor who starred in the film Parasite had requested for the last round of questioning to be closed.
There was no request for public appearance by the police or leaks of the police investigation information which was raised by some. We thoroughly comply with relevant laws and regulations such as press affairs guidelines and ensure there is no negligence in protecting human rights.
You're listening to the latest world news from the BBC. China's defense ministry has accused Taiwan's government of deliberately playing up the military threat posed by China ahead of the island's elections in January. A spokesperson said Taiwan's governing Democratic Progressive Party was exaggerating tensions by informing the population about the nearby presence of Chinese warships and jets. The Associated Press news agency has accused Russia of deliberately undercounting the number of people who died in flooding after the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam in southern Ukraine. Following an investigation, AP says at least hundreds of people died after the dam was blown up in June. It alleges Russia's proxy authorities in occupied areas on the eastern side of the Dnipro River removed unclaimed bodies and threatened health workers. AP says Russia did not respond to requests for comment. A teenage boy has been killed in a shark attack at a popular resort in South Australia. Locals say it's the first fatal shark attack at Ethel Beach, but they'd been concerned by a recent increase in sharks' numbers. Scientists say they have found an easy way to identify water and signs of life on planets in other solar systems. It's based on measuring how much carbon dioxide there is in its atmosphere. Mr. Pico has the details.
Our telescopes aren't powerful enough to see exoplanets in detail, but we can study the light they emit, and it carries clear signs of the gases in their atmospheres. We know from Earth that oceans absorb some of the CO2, so measuring a reduced amount of the gas on an exoplanet would strongly imply it has surface water, something that's seen as important for life. Living organisms also absorb carbon dioxide and emit oxygen. This too can be measured when it's transformed into ozone. Together these two, low CO2 levels and the presence of ozone, would be relatively strong indications of life.
Mr. Pico reporting, and that's the latest BBC News.
This week I did a big clear out of my bedroom and found an old box of birthday cards. Like most people, I imagine, I throw away my cards shortly after the event. But since I was 12, I've kept hold of one card each year to kind of represent that time in my life. And there's a real mixed bag. I have the first birthday card my partner ever gave me, I have one my parents sent me when I couldn't see them during lockdown, and I have one from my best friend from when I turned 16, and she forgot to write anything inside it. I'm Caroline Steele.
And I'm Marnie Chesterton. From the BBC World Service,
this is Unexpected Elements.
As you might have noticed, we've got both Caroline and me in the studio together.
First, very exciting.
So it's usually just one of us in charge of Unexpected Elements, which usually looks at the science behind a news story and then uses that as a springboard to talk about three related or increasingly unrelated science stories.
But we're not doing that this week. So this week we're going to be looking back at the best bits from the last year. Or actually less than a year, right? Because Unexpected Elements hasn't been running quite that long.
No, this is our 34th episode, actually.
Okay, so it started in about April?
Yeah, about then.
And something I've always wanted to ask you, but never have, where did the title come from? Why is it called Unexpected Elements?
I think because no one violently disliked it. We were going to be called Smashed or Smash. And the idea that we'd smash apart a news story and pull out the bits, kind of atomizing things. But then someone pointed out that there are some rude connotations, and we didn't want to go there. So normally on a show, we always kick off the show with an audio montage about the week's news story, and we don't have a single news story this time. Instead, here's some of what you can expect to hear over the next hour.
And then we have a squeak and another long bellows.
And that essentially turns the cockroach into a zombie.
All the billions of galaxies and stars and black holes and everything that has ever existed.
The complex history of human origins and human migration.
So that is a very good question.
I couldn't possibly comment. Usually, Marnie and I are joined by a panel of journalists from all over the world, neighbouring perspectives, anecdotes, and they're also just someone to chat to, so Marnie and I aren't left screaming into a void.
And sometimes these journalists that we've known for ages.
Like you and Chavi, is that right?
Chavi Sachdev, who's our Mumbai correspondent, excellent human, would totally recommend. And we've known each other for coming up to 2 decades, I think.
And then some of them we've met for the first time this year. Like I went to Romania a couple of months ago and met Andrada, and it was just so nice to see her in person. She took us out for lunch and showed us all her local things and the right people to talk to for that story.
So we're really getting a window onto people's worlds. And one story a panellist brought that I particularly like was from Mural Jamal, who's from the UAE, but who lives in Canada. So she speaks multiple languages and sometimes struggles to toggle between two. And it turns out there is some science to explain why.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I go home to the United Arab Emirates, I'm around my grandparents a lot. They speak Gujarati and it's so terrible. I struggle with very basic words, but as embarrassing as slip-ups are, they actually tell us quite a bit about what's going on in our brains when we switch between the languages that we know.
Go on then, what is going on in the brain?
So multiple studies have shown that when multilinguals speak, all languages are active in the brain at the same time, even if they're only speaking one language. So if you're saying hello in one language, its translation will also be available to you in the other languages that you know. And it's funny because the languages that you know can interfere with each other, and this interference can manifest in vocabulary slip-ups or grammar or in the accents that we end up using.
So Caroline, I know that both you and I are monoglots, so one
Very
language,
true.
but my mum was a French translator and she said you never totally get a language until you dream in it.
Now, Rani, the next clip is from an interview you did with Tristan Artone in Helsinki. He's editor-at-large of Grist. And I vividly remember stifling a laugh while sitting listening to it on my way into work. Listeners, I should warn you, the next clip contains explicit descriptions of sex, bedbug sex, that is. This was, of course, from the week when the news was full of scare stories about an infestation of bedbugs. Here's Tristan.
One of the things that makes bedbugs so threatening, wherever you are in the world, is how much they love to travel. And what makes them good at traveling is they have these special claws that are really adept at grabbing onto things like cloth and nylon, which are the kind of materials that are used in backpacks and soft shell luggage.
But lots of insects and animals stow away in luggage, on boats, on planes, and not all of them create potentially newsworthy infestations. Why are bedbugs so special?
Well, unfortunately, it's the way that they reproduce. Bedbug sex is both quite disgusting and really fascinating, at least scientific.
The floor is all yours.
Well, so bedbugs mate a lot. They exude pheromones that make them want to congregate together, and when they're all hanging out with each other, they reproduce. Female bedbugs have no vaginal opening, so male bedbugs stab the female through the abdomen with a rock-hard dagger-like organ, cracking open the female's protective shell and injecting sperm into her body cavity.
Ow!
Yeah, and then the sperm flows through the female's body until it fertilizes the eggs. And the process is called traumatic insemination. And it's so traumatic that the females hide from the males after experiencing this a few times to avoid going through it again.
I just feel bad for all bedbugs now. I want to go through and separate out the females with a pair of tweezers, rescue them.
The awful thing is that they clearly have enough memory to remember the last time they had traumatic insemination was really traumatic and they don't want to do it again. I was kind of hoping they'd be too stupid to remember that.
Yeah, sorry for the bedbugs.
One of the things I really love about Unexpected Elements is that often a science story will lead us into stories about our lives, reflecting on the fact that science is just all around us. Here's Godfred from Ghana and Camilla from Brazil, and in this clip, Godfred has just finished telling us about some research about how we make decisions.
So one school of thought has been that people and animals make decisions based on a cumulative sum of evidence. But this research seems to suggest that if a subject has enough confidence in a decision building in their mind or has spent too long deliberating, they are less inclined to consider new evidence. But let me ask you though, do you know any humans who have made the wrong decision despite overwhelming evidence that it's a bad idea?
I couldn't possibly comment. I'm not going to tell you that my entire life is a series of terrible decisions. Throwing over to Camilla.
Okay, so I'm going to open up and share a personal story about a bad decision. I had a really bad breakup many years ago, and I thought that a makeover would be a good idea, so I went to this place, which was called Radical Haircut.
Oh no! Oh no!
Evidence is right there. Yeah, it's right there. And then I said to them, do whatever you want with me. Yeah.
No!
Yeah, I got out
right
tiny.
too!
Uh-huh. Tiny bangs, Marnie. Tiny bangs for months. So there you go.
We want photos.
Yeah, we need photos.
Marnie, you really glossed over your bad decision making there. I'm intrigued. Can you tell us at least one bad decision you've made?
I live in a rented room and I'm technically a grown-up. I mean, I would go into this some more, but I just don't think that that's important to our listeners. And there's so much more to just moving on. Each week, we also get straight to the people making the science discoveries. There's always at least one interview with an expert.
And I don't know where the producers find these people. They are consistently fantastic, and they talk us through some really complicated science. So this year we've had cosmic inflation, quantum tunneling,
mining an asteroid for gold, snot palaces.
I don't remember snot palaces.
What? How could you miss snot palaces?
I don't know. How could I miss snot palaces?
Well, you know that mucus is kind of everywhere. Well, you'd think of it in your nose and it's in your eyes, but it's also in the oceans. So fish are covered in mucus, and then tiny fish, larvaceans, actually create these beautiful, intricate sort of palaces, I guess, out of snot to help them filter the ocean waters. They are genuinely... I know you're making a disgusted face right now, but look, I'm just going to get the images up.
Okay, go on.
Show you this.
Let me see.
Okay. That's beautiful.
That is kind
People
of beautiful.
should Google snot palaces.
And that's made of mucus?
That's made of mucus.
So I am looking at what is essentially kind of like a relatively plain but impressive palace made of snot. Okay, I'll give it to you. Very cool, Marnie, but you have put me off going for a swim in the sea. Speaking of the sea, here's Dr. Ellen Garland from the University of St Andrews.
So there's an ascending moan, and then an ascending cry into what's a bit more of a trill, and then we've got these big sort of ascending whistles that you can hear that are nice and long. This whole long pulse sound. There's this really long pulse sound, and all of these whistles and cries.
What is that?
So attractive.
That is either it's going to keep going. That is a bellows. And then we have a squeak, and another long bellows, and another squeak.
Never did I think I would listen to someone commenting on the different bits of a whale song, but that was fascinating. So what does one of these, did you say ascending moans? Is an ascending moan like a phrase, or what kind of part of a song is that?
That's just one unit, one sound type. So a few of those, so the bellows and the squeak, maybe one phrase, and then it was repeated because we heard another bellows and squeak. And so that's the repetition of that phrase to make the theme. And that's just one section of the song. So there will be completely different themes in there with, for instance, those ascending moans and whistles and cries we're all hearing. And there can be anywhere from, say, 4 to usually 8 themes present in these songs. So there's quite a lot of variety going on.
It sounds a bit like humans.
Really? You think?
Yes, I mean, what do we use songs for? Sounds a bit like humans.
Good point. Yes, to be fair, I think we do use songs to attract mates sometimes, don't we? Or to show we're sort of keeping up with fashion trends.
Yes.
Okay, quick confession there. When Godfrey said sounds a bit like humans, I thought he literally meant that whale song sounds like humans. And I was thinking, Godfrey, who have you heard make that noise?
Make that noise?
Marnie.
It's beautiful, it's melancholic, it sounds like my dad gargling. Thank you, Caroline. Moving on, we'll have more from our favourite guest experts after this. It's time for the Unexpected Elements quiz. Each week we put you to the test with a question and then you can find out later on if you got it right. Today it's about a rare and rather large rodent. Tales of a giant coconut-eating rat, at least twice the size of a common rat, have long been part of the folklore of Vangunu in the Solomon Islands. In 2023, for the first time, the elusive Vangunu rat was caught on camera, busying about its unusual habitat. The question is, what is that habitat? Does it A. live alongside glowworms in the island's cave, B. nestle in sandy beaches where the leatherback turtles lay their eggs, or C. live with the birds in the island's forest? Vangunu Rat Home, is it A. caves, B. beaches, or C. trees? Keep listening and I'll give you the answer later on in the show. You're listening to Unexpected Elements from the BBC World Service. I'm Marnie Chesterton and with me is Caroline Steele, and we're sifting through some of our favourite bits from ever since we started making this show.
My favourite bits are usually any bit that has some physics in, especially this chat with Ghazal Geshnitz-Jani from the University of Waterloo in Canada. What is cosmic inflation?
Well, I have good news for you. The cosmic inflation, as opposed to the economic inflation, is a good thing for us. And what it is, what we think is a very early, super rapid expansion of the universe. It happened in very brief moments. We are talking about billions of seconds, but by size of the universe multiplying over and over and becoming bigger and bigger. And we think it generated the seed for everything else that came after. The world as we see it, our own existence, the galaxies, they all rely on that period of inflation.
Did you say billionths of a second in the early universe? So such a small time period we can't even imagine.
Yeah, even smaller. I just don't have the right words to describe it, but unless I use mathematics.
And just to clarify, when you're talking about the early universe, how early are we talking?
What I'm talking is around like 13 billion years ago, before any element or ordinary matter was formed, even like the photons, everything else was being cooked up at that point, basically.
Okay, so this period of seriously rapid inflation at the start of our universe, is it kind of like a speck of dust in the studio erupting into something like the size of a marble? And in that marble, there are all the billions of galaxies and stars and black holes and everything that has ever existed.
And then, that marble grew out to be what we see, the whole observable universe, which is now, 94 billion light years in size or something. But back then, it was this very, very tiny marble.
Okay, so very important stuff. We wouldn't be here without cosmic inflation. Godfred, Andrada, how does that sound to you? Is cosmic inflation making sense?
It does. The concepts of seeds of the world sounded fascinating to me.
Well, I'm just blown away. Everything.
What I took from that is, if after the holidays I don't fit into my jeans, which inevitably will happen, I can just remember that at some point, I, and every other human in the whole world, fitted into the size of a marble, so was once really small.
And that marble once fitted into a speck of dust.
Yeah.
So I think that process by which it expands, is it called adiabatic expansion?
Ooh, I don't know.
Someone told me that once, and then the bit that made me remember it was that they said it's the same process that goes on in a popcorn kernel when it turns into popcorn. And I thought, oh, food, I'll remember that. One of my favourite expert interviews was one that you did, Caroline, with Shadrik Cherry-Koure, who's a professor of archaeological science at the University of Oxford.
One of the things that I'm working on is a collection of gold and silver coins that were recovered from a shipwreck that sank in 1533 off the Namibian coast in a small town called Oranjemund. So in 2008, routine diamond mining resulted in the recovery of a shipwreck that had 42 kilograms of gold mostly made of 2/3 Spanish gold coins and 1/3 Portuguese gold coins.
I wouldn't say this too loudly because we have got a particle physicist on the call and she might want to steal some of it for her particle detector.
The good thing is that it's all in a diamond mine, so the security is so high. But we can share.
Actually, one of the materials that makes a really good particle detector in terms of reconstructing the tracks of particles is diamond, but its cost is prohibitive. But I do have a question. Like, as I mentioned just now, some of these ancient metals like steel and lead from these ancient shipwrecks can go for a really high price because particle physicists want them, as much as 20 euros a kilo. So how much do these ancient gold and silver go on the market or the black market?
So that is a very good question, but I was also surprised you didn't ask me the question, why is it that I'm still poor? But this has to do with the ethics and the laws. So there are international conventions that prohibit the sale of artifacts and materials from shipwrecks that are designated as heritage.
Ugh, ethics. Right. Conspiring to make Shadrach Cherry Couré poor. I think this is fascinating, though. You've got two tribes of science essentially squaring up against each other because, you know, the physicists who work on all of these amazing experiments are like, oh, that's really useful metal. We could stick that in our detectors. But presumably they have to melt it down in order to make it useful.
Yeah, and is it worth more sort of preserved as an artifact telling us about humans through time, or is it worth more in a detector helping us understand how the universe works? Anyway, we only have time for one more expert, but I'm going to leave you with this one. I interviewed Ken Catania. He's professor of biology at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. And if you thought bedbug sex was horrifying, wait for this.
It's a almost neurosurgical attack, I would call it. When the jewel wasp comes across a cockroach, it'll start to stalk it and then make a sudden leap and grab part of the cuticle, sort of just behind the head. And at that point, it's practically a rodeo because the cockroach will do everything it can to get away, but the wasp has its jaws firmly attached to the cockroach.
So when you describe this attack as sort of neurosurgical, that made me think, oh, it's kind of calm and clinical, but that sounds more like a fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a fight. I mean, that's the amazing thing about it, is it's simultaneously incredibly precise attack, but it's in the middle of this pitched battle between the two of them. It's a sort of stepwise attack, and the first thing the wasp needs to do is paralyze the front legs of the cockroach so that it can then go for the brain. So after the first sting, when those legs are paralyzed, that's what the cockroach would sort of fight back with to try to protect its head, but it can't do that anymore. And at that point, the wasp essentially uses its stinger to sort of come up from underneath and weave its way into the cockroach throat, through the throat into the head, and then finds the brain of the cockroach to deposit venom into the brain. And that essentially turns the cockroach into a zombie. That's what we call it, because the wasp can then do what it wants, so to speak, with the cockroach. One of the challenges that the wasp has is it has to take it back to a hole where it's going to entomb it to lay an egg for its young. So the challenge is, how does this wasp get this big creature to a hole? So the cockroach has to be able to still use its legs, but not use its legs to try to escape.
What I'm learning is that all of those Netflix gruesome specials have got nothing on nature.
Yeah, it's worse than that. And then this zombie cockroach gets led to an underground lair, has eggs planted in it, which then hatch and slowly eat it from the inside out whilst it's still alive. This is worse than any horror film I've ever seen.
Still to come on the show, more of the best bits of unexpected elements. We've got the rhinos hoping to use a surrogate from a different species.
And what happens if a polar bear walks into your very remote village where no one has any phone signal? And Marnie, we've got your absolute favourite thing, phages.
Phages!
This is the BBC World Service, exploring music with powerful emotional impact.
They blared it on the overhead speakers in every hall and in the elevators and in the lobby as they rolled me out in a wheelchair. And through all that, it was underscored with defying gravity.
Something has changed within. It's about believing in yourself. It's self-motivating, it's triumphant, it's encouraging, it's positive.
Defying Gravity is a really important song for the LGBTQ plus community. It means you have to be strong to defy something.
Stephen Schwartz put it in a key that for a female to sing, it's quite a stretch. It's right on the edge, so it sounds dangerous. And I think that's the excitement of it.
Soul music, defying gravity. Wednesday at 11:30 and 23:30 GMT.
This is Unexpected Elements, the show that brings you the science behind the news.
Well, that's actually what we normally do. This week, we're bringing you the best bits from the last year.
Still to come, lots of listener emails about fruit chat, and we reveal the inner workings of the show, why we don't think we can find the world's coolest scientist.
And the great debate we're having about whether or not puns are funny. That's coming up shortly on Unexpected Elements.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. China has told its nationals to leave the Lorkai district in northern Myanmar. Its embassy there cited the continuing fighting between the military and 3 ethnic rebel groups along the border with China. China's foreign ministry described the situation as grim and complicated. The UN human rights chief has urged Israel to end what he called unlawful killings against the Palestinian population in the occupied West Bank. Volker Turk said the use of military tactics, disproportionate force, and movement restrictions were extremely troubling. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza has reported the deaths of 50 more Palestinians there today. Tens of thousands are fleeing urban refugee camps where Israeli tanks have been trying to force their way in with intense shelling. Amnesty International has accused the Indian authorities of continuing to unlawfully target journalists by putting invasive spyware on their iPhones. Security experts found evidence of the Israeli-developed Pegasus spyware. The Associated Press has accused Russia of deliberately undercounting the number of people who died after the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam in southern Ukraine. Its investigation found at least hundreds of people were killed after the dam was blown up in June. Russia's space agency says it signed an agreement with its US counterpart to keep sending people on joint missions to the International Space Station until 2025. The agreement is an increasingly rare example of cooperation. The Ugandan army says it's killed a commander from the ADF rebel group, which has been accused of several recent deadly attacks. His unit killed nearly 40 students at a boarding school in June. China's accused Taiwan's government of playing up the Chinese military threat ahead of the island's elections in January. The Defense Ministry said Taiwan was doing this by informing people about the nearby presence of Chinese warships and fighter jets.
You're listening to Unexpected Elements from the BBC World Service. I'm Marnie Chesterton.
And I'm Caroline Steele, and we're looking back over the last year and pulling together all the best bits from our favourite shows. And usually it's not just me and Marnie in the studio, we're joined by an international panel, and each week one of them brings a story from their part of the world that they think might have gone under the radar of global news.
Right, so we've heard all sorts of stories that we might not have heard even if we were keeping a close eye on the news in our part of the world. And here's one that stood out for me. Where would we be without electricity? Candice, you're well placed to tell us.
Well, you'll probably be somewhere in South Africa because there is no electricity in South Africa, Marnie.
That is very sad. What's the situation? What's going on?
Well, load shedding or power outages in South Africa have really become a...
This is Starr Radio UK.
But also for the average man and woman on the street. Basically, we're sitting with up to 12 hours of load shedding or power outages a day. So that
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You're stressed out. Tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenating, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up? Are you ready to turn it up?
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie, and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio
UK.
This is Starr Radio
UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
How to set up a doorbell camera for free in just 30...
Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands. The hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday,
Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. And that's how I say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be this morning. This is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Today is the 28th day of December, the year 2023, with the time now exactly at 10:45. From now to 12 o'clock, I'm going to bring you everything you need to know as we review the year 2023. But I hope that you are doing very well, your family, yourself, and whoever and wherever you are, there is a bit of peace there. Till the end, you are God. As I do say all the time, do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our page. This is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Good morning to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who will not be able to join us today because he's on the road. Yes, on the road. They're trying to get all the necessary information to come next week. Tomorrow or next week, we'll be able to bring you everything that we've captured whilst on the road. Yes, yesterday he brought you the updates whilst he was on the road. You remember? Love for you runs deep. And due to reception, that's why we were not able to bring you the Niger voices. But whatever it is, be sure that as he's en route, we'll be bringing you everything that we need to know on the road. Jesus. Let me say good morning to Bishop Adeshina, Anthony Adedeji Aziz, good morning to you. Olakunle, good morning. Shamsuni, good morning to you. Pastor Mo, good morning. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, good morning. Reverend Michael Siama, Felix Tetter, my brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen, massive good morning to you. That is Captain Tetter, and to every one of you who's tuned in this morning. It's going to be a pleasure once again, or it is a pleasure once again coming your way. But wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, let's crack on. And let me put it this way, all protocol observed. I'm going to bring you the course of the day, the weather forecast, policy, then the travel update as well. We'll move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. And then after that, from 11 o'clock, we'll be touching down in Nigeria, in other parts of Africa, Ghana, and the Eastern part, everywhere on the African continent. Then we'll come to Europe as well. And then we will land in the UK and we'll bring the program to a close. But so far, so good. What do you think about whatever is been happening across the globe? Do you think it's a good one that we are seeing? How would you score it? Well, do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. This is Starr Radio UK. This is the morning show. Okay, let me crack on. So the quote for the day says, even if you are certain beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are right, you should still present your point of view with consideration and humility. And that is how to relate to people when it comes to relation, how to relate to people, how to be able to communicate with people. Yeah, though you know your stance are right, you don't come placing trying to, it's got it. Okay, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Great to be praised. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. This I celebrate. Okay, so now let's crack on. Let's move on to what the weather has got in stock for us this morning. Interestingly, we're going to be seeing some kind of mixture of a thing there, as we've been seeing of late. But, well. Here in London and the southeast, this is how the weather is going to be for you today. And over the next few days, let me bring you that. So this afternoon we'll see variable cloud and bright intervals along with scattered blustery showers. This becoming heavier and more frequent later. Very windy with gales. And tonight we'll see any remaining clouds and showers move off to the east early. It will then be drier overnight with clear spells developing. Winds diminish somewhat, but still it's going to be freezing. Top temperature is going to be 13 degrees, the lowest is going to be 8 degrees. UV level low, pollution low, sunset 15:58 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 0806 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. This is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 9 minutes to the top of the hour. So now let's move on straight to your travels. Let me tell you what is happening on your travels this morning. So on the travels this morning, those of you who are using the underground, I can tell you shortly the central line have got minor delays. This line part closures. PLR has also got part closures, and London Overground has got part closures. Then aside, all the other underground lines are in good service. London Tramlink in good service there as well. That takes us straight to the major roads in London, the A roads, and they are all having a good, no exceptional delays and on any of them. Now, when it comes to the riverbank this morning, we still go down. The Woolwich Ferry that's got reduced service. That aside, all the others are running a good service. The London Cable Car is also running a good service there. The Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And that brings us to the final segment of the travel update. That's the National Railways, which I would say keep your eyes on the road. Now, National Rails, my apologies. Now, Virgin West Coast has got minor delays, Cross Country minor delays, West Transpennon Express minor delays, Great Northern minor delays, Great Western minor delays, London North Eastern Railway minor delays, Lumbo minor delays, Merseyrail minor delays, Thameslink minor delays, ScotRail special service, Transport for Wales special service, and that brings us to the end of the travel update. But as you know how I will say it all the time that I love to say. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your coming for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road. Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back on the show, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I remain yours sincerely, your one and only Archie. Let me say good morning to Kojo D. Kojo, it was nice seeing you. We're going to be coming up with a special program. Those of you who are religious, you want, yes, we're bringing you a program that's going to be starting sometime in January. So just bear with us. We'll be putting all the details across, and then you can come on that platform, and then enjoy that program as well. Let me say good morning to Bishop Michael Ayisi and Reverend Joseph Ado in Milton Keynes as well. Good morning to you all. Salome, and then Mrs. Evelyn Tabiri. Hey, good morning to you and to the girls as well. And Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GL Accountancy Services, our money man. All right then, now let's kick off. Yes, going global trotting.
The FCCPC fines tobacco companies 110 million over infringement of law. What law was that? Now, Zenith emerges best bank for digital solutions in Nigeria. Union Bank controversy. CBN investigator rejects request of Titan Trust Bank investors. Then Nigeria is being re-engineered for prosperity of all. Tinubu is saying. Now, Plateau massacre. Edu condoles with survivors. I think consoles, but it says condoles with survivors, assures of humanitarian assistance. Nigeria firm plans first ever gas supply deal to South Africa. We have no skeleton in our cupboards. Our colleagues are dying. Ex-Oyo local government chairman to Makinde. And then NBA AGF legal giants mourn courageous Akiti. Akeredolo's daughter causes stir. Other journalists out of late father's house. Akeredolo Ayida Tiwa sworn in as Ondo governor. That's from Akeredolo. Ayida Tiwa has been sworn in as Ondo governor. Well. It was something that was bound to happen, but Akeredolo was cracking the straw. Yes, but it didn't pan out the way he wanted to. But as we said yesterday, may his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Army confirms arrest of soldier for killing driver in Bono State, and Reps Minority Caucus urges action to end plateau killings. What actions? What is the military hierarchy doing pertaining to these issues that happened over the weekend and that's been happening in Nigeria for the past few years now? It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now we move on straight to some other stories making the rounds this morning as well. Benin removes suspension of transition goods to Niger. Now Benin has lifted its suspension of imported goods transiting to Niger through the port of Cotonou, the port's director general said. So what are they? Why are they backing off? Or Benin, because it's one of the areas that exports or imports from the outer world gets to Niger, and they are saying that we are lifting it, or we have lifted it. So is it that ECOWAS have decided that, you know what, whatever terms that they put across, we now accept it for the transition, and therefore within that it's about time we lift some of the sanctions. We'll tell you more about that. An explosion of a gas tanker kills at least 40 in Liberia. At least 40 people were killed when a tanker truck exploded after crashing into central Liberia, the police have said on Tuesday. Crashing in central Liberia is not crashing into central Liberia. No, there's a typo there as well. Opposition protests clash with police in Kinshasa after partial results released. And family of former South African hostage in Mali thanks Algeria. Some of the stories making the round. DR Congo presidential election. Partial results give Tshisekedi a clear lead. Is it a clear lead? Or is it some way, somehow? As we do. Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio. Private American military company in discussions with who? We'll be telling you more about all that. Well. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now in Zambia, Zambian foreign minister resigns over malicious claims. Well, what claims were that? But at least he's got the balls to resign. Okay, we'll be bringing that your way. And Burkina Faso, kidnapping of a former foreign minister. It's a story. Some of the stories making the rounds there. It's interesting what is happening on the African continent this morning that I'm going to be bringing your way. Ride-hailing drivers to embark on nationwide strike over VIT implementation. Kufuor orders Minister of Finance to release funds for the construction of youth resource centers. And then Apostle into me, Mahama consoles Church of Pentecost. And then MTN intervenes, but health experts concerned over rising cases of unpreparedness for labor. And then one other story, OSP judiciary resolved to fight corruption together. Interesting. Well, it looks like the judiciary has been throwing the spanner in the web of the OSP since it started doing its work. But now they are resolving to fight corruption together. We shall see, won't we? Yeah, man. All right, then. It's still coming away from Star Radio UK. Stop scrambling for our space in Parliament when we still have life in us. Katie Hammond to the youth. These people, they want to be there. They don't want to go away. They want to die there. Okay. Well. More going to be coming your way from there. Moving on straight to some other stories. As I did say, program finishes exactly at 12 o'clock today. Now, moving on straight to other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Israel warns Hezbollah and Lebanon over border fighting. If the world and the Lebanese government don't act, the IDF will do it, says Israeli Minister Benny Gantz. And U.S. releases last military aid for Ukraine for now. Now, the funds are the final tranche of the aid the White House can allocate without fresh approval from Congress. Okay, and then 3 Hong Kong activists jailed for terrorism and bomb plot. They were part of pro-independence group which planned to place bombs in various public buildings. And a teenage boy killed in a shark attack in Australia. And a Prague gunman confessed to shooting baby in woods. A suicide note written by the Prague University attacker confirmed the number of his victims as 17. And tributes pour in for EU statesman Jacques Delors. Okay, and Hamas says 50 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli strikes in Gaza. But when will we see the end? Okay, moving on straight to the UK front, coming to the UK front as well. Roofs blown off as tornado strikes down. Roofs are torn off houses, trees fall, and walls collapse in part of Greater Manchester during Storm Gerrit. Well. See the roof of some buildings. Oh boy. Okay, and thousands still without power after Storm Gerrit. Now, some properties in the north of Scotland may not be reconnected to the electricity grid until Friday. And then in other stories, RSV jab could cut baby hospitalization by 80% study. More than 30,000 UK children under 5 are hospitalized with respiratory syncytial virus a year. Okay. Blair was keen on Wimbledon FC relocating to Belfast. Ex-Prime Minister Sir Tony Blair was keen on an idea to relocate Wimbledon FC to Belfast in the late 1990s. Why? Maybe taking it there, it will bring the people of the Northern Ireland together, or Belfast together. This is something that he was looking at. Thousands of appointments hit by doctor walkout. The NHS is braced for its longest strike after last week's walkout caused nearly 88,000 cancellations there. This and a lot more going to be coming your way. Let's start ready, okay. Now, one other story as well. Electrical goods recycle collection has been planned. UK households could put old toasters and hairdryers on the campsite for pickup under proposals. Maybe that would do. You can put your fridge, you can put all sorts there, right? I've got lots of electrical bits. But I need to get the council to come and take it. All right, then, listeners, it is all coming away from Star Radio UK. Now, let's go take some music. And then once we come back, I'll bring you the details of all the stories that I've touched on. And this is from Kofi Boham. It says, writing names of talkatives. Now, the year 2023, where there are some individuals who are chastising you all the time, not seeing any good in whatever you were doing. Maybe if it's constructive criticism, that is a good one. You listen to it, don't. And even when they are just bringing you destructive ones, just criticizing for criticizing sake, just note what they are saying and work hard on it. Yeah, you go places. So, writing names of talkatives, enjoy it, and I'll be with you. Kofi Boham.
It's like my favorite song on this album, y'all. There's no secret in our world. People like to talk.
This is Starr Radio UK.
And the ones they don't, they will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet. And tell them, say, I'm writing names of properties. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkers.
I'm writing names of talkers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9.
this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, let them when he comes.
Teacher will catch you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
This is Starr Radio UK.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife, cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teacher said be careful how you hear, cause there are talkatives here, they're everywhere. So silence the voices in your head and give no attention to your fears. I'm writing
names of talkatives. All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes.
As for me,
I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkers.
I'm writing names of talkers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
Yeah.
No time to waste.
Can we talk?
Yeah.
Can we talk? Call them, say
talkatives.
Do you know any?
Talkatives.
Yeah. Have you met any?
Talkatives.
Can we write some?
Talkatives.
List some names of talkatives. I am going now.
Talkatives.
Yeah. Some friends are.
Talkatives.
Some family members.
Talkatives.
Some
This is Starr Radio UK.
Your exes are.
Talkatives.
Your
You
exes
are listening to Starr Radio Morning.
Have you known any?
Talkatives.
Move away
Archie
from
on Starr Radio. Nobody
opinions are.
Talkatives.
Bloggers.
Talkatives.
Social media.
Talkatives.
Old friends.
Talkatives.
Some doctors report are.
Talkatives.
Some symptoms are.
Talkatives.
Addictions are.
Talkatives.
Move away from
Talkatives.
people's opinions are.
Talkatives.
You are too fast.
Talkatives.
You are too slow.
Talkatives.
You talk too much.
Talkatives.
You are very quiet.
Talkatives.
Open makeup, dodo.
Talkatives.
Your face is so raw.
Talkatives.
You sing too much.
Talkatives.
You don't sing at all.
Talkatives.
The last time I heard they said, are you the one they said you did? Are you sure you know her? She doesn't like me. Me too, I don't like her. All of these things are move away from run away from, keep some distance from. Do you know any talkative? Have you met any talkative? Do you know any talkative? So move away from yeah. Make your own list of talkative. They will break your heart. Talkative. Yeah. They will slow you down. Talkative. They will make you doubt yourself. Talkative. God is working so talkative. Will stop you from seeing talkative. What God is doing. Talkative. So move away from talkative. These people will stop you talkative. From seeing what God is doing. Talkative. So move away from talkative. So right to say some talkative. All of this noise they're making on you. Teacher will get them when he comes. You have a race. No time to waste. No time to waste. Time no day, time no day. So write these names of talkers. So write these names of talkers, of talkers. All of this noise they're making on you. Teacher will get them when he comes. Teacher will get them when he comes. You have a race. No time to waste.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa will provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I want to thank every one of our viewers and our listeners for your patronage, and we're wishing you all the best of the season. Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Because I can see people still celebrating their Christmas, all the chicken and all the guat and all the turkeys and everything. I hope that you enjoyed it wherever you might be. Okay, let's crack on. Now let's look at the details of some of the stories that we put across. As I did say, now we're bringing the program to a close exactly at 12 o'clock. Yes, because just reviewing some of the stories that has made the run. Unfortunately, I will not have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining me because it's on the road. We're doing some work on the road. Yeah, not road works, but he's doing some investigative work and meeting communities for a cause. So he's working on that. So God willing, tomorrow or definitely Tuesday, once we are back, he will be able to tell you all that you need to know there. So keep your fingers crossed and everything. Yes, Anthony Adedeji, good morning to you once again. Thank you very, very much for your patronage. I say it all the time. I know it costs you an arm and a leg, yet you guys listen to us religiously. Oh boy. Oh boy, we are so grateful to you. Now let's go to updates from Nigeria. Now the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, that's the FCCPC of Nigeria, has fined British American Tobacco, that is Nigeria Limited, that's BATN, and PLC, British American Tobacco Holdings Limited, all together referred to as BAT or BAT parties, the sum of 110 million for infringement of national tobacco control law. According to a statement by the management of the FCCPC, upon full consideration of the record, BAT parties, additional articulation, representation, and correspondent totality of evidence procured violations established under law, BAT or BAT parties entry into and conduct in cooperation and assistance under the Commission's CAF. The Commission closed the investigation by the Commission and BAT parties' mutual execution of a consent order and notice with both parties agreeing that BAT parties shall pay a penalty of 110 million dollars under pursuant to section 155 of this FCCPA clause 11 of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Administrative Penalties Regulation 2020 and clause 4.2 of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Investigative Cooperation Assistant Rules and Procedures of 2021. So that's what they've done there. The BAT party shall be subject to a compliance and monitoring under the supervision of the Commission for a period of 24 months to ensure appropriate behavioral and business practices modification to be more consistent with compliance with prevailing competition laws and regulations and tobacco control efforts. Interestingly, back in the day, I think I was having a chat with one of my bosses at the time, and because I was in advertising, publicity advertising, so we had a consultancy, so that's where. And then the boss will talk about the fact that when they had the PTC, that is a tobacco company there, they call them the PTC, and then a few other companies, there was that competition that some entities can go buy your products and then go dump them somewhere in the sea. So your products will not be on the market, just to kill the competition. But if that is what the regulator found out, that's what they are doing, unfair competition, or trying to maybe sweeten their customers with rewards, knowing that, well, we know that tobacco is not good, well, then that's what they are saying about that. But well, interesting. They've agreed to that, so that payment will be made. Now, so December 28th, the Zenith Bank PLC has emerged as the best bank for digital solutions in Nigeria. In the Euro Money Awards for Excellence 2023, underscoring the bank's pioneering and outstanding achievements in delivering cutting-edge digital financial solutions, Euro Money's Awards for Excellence are one of the most highly coveted awards that matter to the banks and the bankers who matter. Established in 1992 as the first of their kind, the awards recognize excellence in the global banking industry, with this year's edition receiving a record number of submissions from banks in their regional and country awards program that covers more than 50 regional awards and best bank awards in 100 countries. Speaking on the recognition, the group managing director of Zenith Bank PLC, Dr. Ebenezer Onyegu, said, "We are delighted to receive the distinction as the best bank for digital solutions in Nigeria." I hope that other banks imitate their way of operating, and then maybe that will help scarcity of liquid cash or of physical cash, so people can be using more digital ways of transacting businesses. And yeah, what about that? Okay, now the president has made it Bola Tinubu says his administration will not stop working tirelessly to revamp nation's economy and create viable opportunities for young people to meaningfully participate in an inclusive, labor-intensive economy where business can thrive. Mr. Tinubu stated that this at the State House in Marina, Lagos State, on Wednesday. During a town hall meeting with traditional rulers, chairpersons of local government and local council development areas, the LCDAs and other political office holders in the state, according to the president, Nigeria, under his renewed Hope administration, is undergoing a process of financial re-engineering. Okay. Mr. Isa, he appealed to citizens to be patient and supportive of the ongoing reforms which are bound to transform the economy for the better. The financial re-engineering of our country is ongoing. We are determined to deliver Nigeria safely through the tunnel of hope, stability, and economic prosperity. Nigeria is in good hands. The team is working, and we will work hard to give you the best economy and the best opportunities that you can imagine, the president said. Acknowledging the concerns raised at the meeting, the president explained that the complexities of state matters have limited his opportunities to frequently interact with some of his long-time friends and constituents in Lagos. For those having difficulty seeing me, kindly note that this job is monumental. It is not one-man job. It is a collective task, and you have to be able to listen, decipher, tolerate, and sometimes what you do not expect will happen. As I was getting ready, in a quote he said, this morning to come here, news of the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of the Ondo came in, as well as passing of former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Umar Naaba. Okay, this is the value of life and the goodness in what we do. The salt of goodness is a multiplier of other good things that we must cherish, not necessarily for us, but for our children and grandchildren, the president said. Reflecting on his tenure as executive governor of the Lagos State, the president recounted challenges faced and the successes achieved at the time. In a quote, he said, to turn the ship around from cascading into turbulence and making it work was not easy. So he managed to say that he did that. So, well, he'll be able to do that for the country once again. But this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria. From Starr Radio UK, as I did say, Mr. Olayomi Koiki is not able to join us this morning because on the road, having some meetings with various bodies or communities where we're trying to get some information for you. To be a great one once it's all done, when we come back to narrate or give a summary, a reportage of what have gone on. Now, following the Christmas Eve alleged massacre by unknown assailants of 100 innocent persons in about 15 communities in Bokos and Bakin Ladi local government areas of Plateau, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Beta Edu, has condoled the government and people of Plateau State. In a condolence message to the government and people of Plateau State, signed by the Minister's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Rashid Olanrewaju Suba, the minister described the incident as senseless, horrendous, and inhumane, and pledged her ministry's readiness to collaborate with the state government to render humanitarian assistance to the affected communities and survivors. According to the minister, it was with utter shock and sadness that I received the news of the barbaric, horrendous, and senseless attacks in Plateau communities, which have left over 100 people dead and injured many, while many more are displaced. I condole with the government and people of Plateau State, especially families of the victims of this unnecessary assault on humanity, and pray for the permanent peace in Plateau. Now, continuing, Dr. Edu said in a statement, one can only imagine the difficulties and indignities as well as catastrophic humanitarian challenges facing the survivors and affected members of the communities. As a ministry directly in charge of responding to humanitarian challenges of citizens in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation has been directed by President Bola Tinubu to collaborate with the Plateau State government to bring humanitarian succor to the survivors and unfortunate attacks, as well as the affected communities. I hope that they expedite whatever actions that they want to take, so that it will not be just all grammar, and people are there desperate. They just need maybe some food to eat. They need counseling, because everything that has gone on there is nothing good, and people who have been displaced need resettling. What do we do about all that? And what assurance is the security agencies putting across, so that people will know that, well, they are there for us? Are they doing the right thing? So far, the president has been in office for few months. Can I say 6 months plus or thereabout? From July, okay, let's say 6 months. Let me call it that. And how have you seen his performance? That's President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria. How have you seen his performance? Has it been abysmal? Or are you saying that promising that, look, to stir the ship or to turn it around is no menial task? Yes, yet he is of the view that with his team, they'll be able to do that. But what do you think? So come your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Then one final story pertaining to Rotimi Akeredolu, who passed yesterday. The Nigerian Bar Association had described the late governor of Ondo State, Oluwa Rotimi Akeredolu, as one of the most influential and courageous presidents of the association. It goes on further to say Akeredolu, 67, died in Germany on Wednesday after a protracted illness. In a statement on Wednesday by the NBA's president, Yakubu Mikhail San noted that Akeredolu would be remembered for his contribution to the growth and development of Ondo State and the Southwest region. The statement read, it is with a heavy heart that I pay tribute to His Excellency Oluwa Rotimi Akeredolu, son, the executive governor of Ondo State and past president of the Nigerian Bar Association, whose transition took place on December 27, 2023, after a protracted ill health. He voraciously served as secretary and vice chair of the Ibadan branch and went on to become the 24th president of the association from 2008 to 2010, one of the most influential and courageous presidents ever to lead the NBA, that is Nigerian Bar Association. Now, with the death announced of Akeredolu on Wednesday, December 27, Ondo State Acting Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa was sworn in as the substantive governor of the Sunshine State after the sad passing of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu in a faraway Germany, where he was being treated for prostate cancer. So they say it's prostate cancer. Now, Aida Tiwa, who will celebrate his 59th birthday on January 12, got an early birthday gift as the #1 citizen of the Southwest State when he was sworn in as Ondo governor by the chief judge of the state, Justice Olusegun Odushola. Ayeda Tiwa, a school teacher turned businessman and politician, took the oath of office at 5:18 p.m. in the presence of All Progressive Congress chieftains and top government officials at the Cocoa Conference Hall in the government's office in Akure, the state capital. In his acceptance speech, Ayeda Tiwa recounted how his relationship with Akeredolu dated back many years ago, having closely worked with him when his gubernatorial journey started in the year 2012. Adding that the events which culminated in today's ceremony is a watershed in the history of Ondo State, as this is the first time we are having a transition in an administration. Well, we wish him the best. We hope that he will be able to do his best for the community and come another election. If he's voted for, he knows that he merits it. This is Starr Radio UK, This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on to some other African countries as well. A quick one from here, The American private military company Bancroft Global Development is in discussion with the Central African Republic. It told, while the Russian mercenary group Wagner, established in the country in 2018, is in the process of reorganization. Responding to a question from journalist, Bancroft Communication Service denied having deployed to Bangui, but admitted contacts with the regime of President Faustin Achanga Tudera. Now, starting in July, Bancroft agreed to a framework to discuss possible future activities with the government of the Central African Republic. That is, the group said in an email. On December 23, Radio Ndeke Luka broadcasts a recording in which the president's spokesperson Albert Yaloke Mokpeme explained that the Central African Republic was carrying out work to diversify its relations in terms of security. As part of the reconstruction of the National Army, we called on partners including the Russian Federation, Angola, Morocco, Guinea, who are helping us to train our soldiers. He added the United States is also offering to the Central African Republic to train its soldiers both on Central African soil and on American soil. Asked on Tuesday by our reporters, the already effective presence of Bancroft, Mr. Mpombe, did not confirm it. The training of our army remains our priority, he said, but the substance of the matter, I'm not in position to talk about it, quote and unquote. Well, so they think that they need a foreign hand in maybe getting themselves there. Well, peacekeepers deploy in the areas of massacre of 23 people, Central African Republic, still stories coming from there as well. It says that, UN peacekeepers are deploying to the northwest of the Central African Republic, where 23 civilians were killed on December 21 in a massacre attributed to the 3R armed group. The UN force said on Wednesday the village of Nzakundu was the target of a deadly attack attributed to the 3R armed elements on December 21, killing 23 civilians, announced the UN in a press release, adding that the village had been burnt down and the rest of the population fled into the bush. The Blue Helmets of the UN mission in the Central African Republic, whose number was not specified, are progressing towards the village with the aim of reinforcing security in the area and facilitating humanitarian access to the population, the UN mission has explained. Listeners, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, a very special broadcast, looking at some of the events going on across the globe. Supporters of a prominent Malian religious and political figure, Imam Mahmoud Dicko, denounced on Wednesday an orchestrated cabal against him and the fire for more than a week for a trip to Algeria. The coordination of movements, associations, and sympathizers of Imam Mahmoud Dicko has noted for some time on social networks a cabal orchestrated against its godfather, Imam Mahmoud Dicko, in connection with his trip to Algeria. Imam Dicko was the tutelary figure of a protest movement that preceded the fall of civilian President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, overthrown by a military coup in 2020. This religious leader is one of the few to dare to openly express his disagreement with the junta to push for the return of civilians to power and to be able to mobilize in the context of restriction of freedoms under military rule. A diplomatic skirmish broke between Mali and Algeria just after its reception by President Abdelmajid Tebboune in Algiers. The Algerian ambassador was summoned by the Malian Minister of Foreign Affairs to raise a strong protest from Mali following the recent unfriendly acts committed by the Algerian authorities. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. This is the morning show. Well, information coming through this morning as well. 3 terrorists were shot dead on Wednesday during an operation carried out by the National Guard officers and military personnel in a mountainous area in west central Tunisia, the Interior Ministry has said. They were killed during an ongoing anti-terrorist operation in the mountainous area of Kasserine, a town close to the border with Algeria. One soldier was wounded by terrorist fire, and gendarme spokesman Hossein Eddin Jabil said. This operation, reinforced by an Air Force unit, also led to the seizure of explosive ammunition and weapons, the ministry added without giving details. Since its revolution in 2011, Tunisia has seen a rise in the jihadist movement responsible for the death of dozens of soldiers, police officers, as well as civilians and foreign tourists. Listeners, this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Benin has lifted its suspension of imported goods transiting to Niger through the port of Cotonou, the port's Director General said on Wednesday, following the 5 months of sanctions on the coup-hit country. The West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS imposed sanctions on Niger following the coup on July 26, which saw the military oust elected leader Mohamed Bazoum. The measures have led to the closure of the border with Benin, which has seen a fall in revenues after the transport of goods to Niger via its port was halted. Now, the measure relating to the suspension of imported goods destined for Niger at the port of Cotonou has been lifted, said the port's Director General, but Joseph Johan van Eno. Now, the measure was taken in view of substantial improvement of the operational conditions for handling goods at the port of Cotonou, in particular the reduction in the rate of congestion, he added. The move comes almost a week after Benin President Francis Talon called for relations to be swiftly re-established between his country and neighboring Niger. Now, both countries are also concerned about giant oil pipeline that will allow Niger, one of the world's poorest countries, to sell its crude on the international market for the first time via Benin port of Seme. Well, it's quite interesting because Benin could see that they were also suffering from the sanctions that the West African group, ECOWAS, has placed on Niger. But now looking at it, they think, you know what? Let's move it on. Let's move on. And that's what they've done. And I'll say a good one there. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One final story, and then we move on to some other stories making the rounds on the African, one from Ghana as well. Ablase Ouedraogo, former Burkina Faso foreign minister and former deputy director general of the World Trade Organization, was kidnapped on Sunday by individuals claiming to belong to the National Police. His political party announced on Wednesday calling for his immediate release. Ablase Ouedraogo, aged 70, was taken by individuals claiming to be members of the National Police Force from his home in Ouagadougou on Sunday, 24 December at around 6:30 p.m., wrote the party he chairs. Le Faso or treatment in a press release. Now, 3 days after his abduction, the party said it had no news of its president and no one has been able to speak to him or know exactly where he is, it added. It called for his immediate and unconditional release. Le Faso treatment, which strongly condemns and denounces the kidnapping of the former minister, says it would hold perpetrators of these kidnapping responsible for any attacks on the physical and moral integrity of Mr. Ouedraogo. In early November, the party denounced the army's decision to requisition its president, Ablase Ouedraogo, to send him to the front in the fight against terrorism. Well, they want to something and then go and fight. So that we go there and somebody kills you. Well. Interesting, yeah? Africa, that's it for you. But so, bringing you some stories making the rounds. Let's touch on this one from Ghana as well, and that pertains to the OSP, that's the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and Judiciary resolving to fight corruption together. The Judicial Service of Ghana and the Office of the Special Prosecutor have expressed their unwavering commitment to combat corruption and corruption-related activities, emphasizing the gravity of the issue and threats posed by corruption to the nation's development and democracy. They underscore the pivotal roles played by the judiciary and the OSP in addressing and curbing such activities. In a statement, they jointly indicated they would, through collaborative enforcement of the law and continuous engagement while upholding the rule of law and the provision of fair hearing to all stakeholders in the criminal justice system. So we hope to see what will happen on that front. This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. So in a letter, the Judicial Service and the Office of the Special Prosecutor recalling their joint engagement with other stakeholders, including the Ghana Bar Association, civil society organizations promoting governance issues, and the National Media Commission, concerned about the seriousness of problems and threats posed by corruption and corruption-related activities in our development and democracy, noting the important roles of the judiciary and the Office of the Special Prosecutor in combating corruption and corruption-related activities, affirm, or like they'll say, hereby affirm a joint commitment to suppress and repress corruption and corruption-related activities in all forms through collaborative enforcement of the law and the continuous engagement with or while upholding the rule of law and the provision of fair hearing to all stakeholders in the criminal justice system. Judicial Service of Ghana signed, Office of the Special Prosecutor signed the 27th day of December 2023. That was yesterday. So a good one. They should put their money where their mouth is. That's what I would say there. Let's see some actions so that people will know that for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. Okay? All right then. Starr Radio UK. 18 minutes to 12 the time. The morning show, the program. Okay. Let's look at one other story. All right. I think we'll move on straight to other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. And this time round, okay, let's take a quick break and we continue. Just bear with me whilst I do so. Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program, to the final segment of this morning show, the 28th day of December, winding up. Okay. Yes. So now moving on to other parts of the world. Well, the war in Gaza or the Middle East seems to be somehow, some way spreading. But Israel's military says they will act to remove Hezbollah from the border with Lebanon if its attacks continue, an Israeli minister has warned. And Benny Gantz said the military will intervene if militants do not stop firing on northern Israel. Now, time for a diplomatic solution was running out, he added. Meanwhile, the head of the Israeli Defense Force said troops were in very high readiness for more fighting in the north. Our first task is to restore security and the sense of security to the residents in the north, and this will take time. The Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, said after conducting a situational assessment. Now, cross-border exchange of fire have been escalating since Hamas 7 October attacks on Israel. On Wednesday, Hezbollah launched its highest number of cross-border attacks in a day since 8 of October, security sources said. It had led to concerns that conflict in Gaza could become wider across the region. The situation on Israel's northern border demands change, Mr. Gantz told a press conference on Wednesday night. The stopwatch for a diplomatic solution is running out. Now, if the world and the Lebanese government don't act in order to prevent the firing on Israel's north residents and to distance Hezbollah from the border, the IDF will do it. Hezbollah, a Shia Muslim organization, is designated a terrorist organization by Western states, Israel, Gulf Arab countries, and the Arab League. Now, funded by Iran, it is one of the most heavily armed non-state military forces in the world. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK, so they'll come your way from the morning show. Now, moving on to some other stories making the rounds as well. 3 Hong Kong activists have been jailed for up to 6 years for their involvement in a foil plot to bomb public buildings. The trio were initially all charged with conspiracy to commit terrorism under the national security law. They were part of Returning Valiant, a pro-independence group which hatched the plan in 2021 following pro-democracy protests. They were arrested in July 2021 before they could execute their plans. The court held that Ho Yu Wang, Kwak Man Hei, and Cheong Ho Young had planned to make bombs using the explosive TATP and place them in various public buildings, including government offices, police quarters, court buildings, and railways. They had intended to carry out their plan between 1st of April and 5th of July 2021, but were arrested before any of the devices were made, the court heard. The prosecutor said who was 17 when he was arrested, was primarily responsible for making the explosives. He pleaded not guilty to the terrorism charges and was sentenced to 6 years in jail, with the court deeming him the ringleader of the group. Now, Cheng, 23, was also sentenced to 6 years in jail, while Kwok, 21, was given a 13-month jail term. They both pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of conspiracy to cause explosion. High Court Judge Alex Lee said he accepted that the hostile social atmosphere during Hong Kong protracted pro-democracy protests could easily cloud one person's moral judgment and might turn people with previously good characters into radicals, according to Reuters. Now, 4 others involved in the plan were earlier sentenced in May. Introduced in 2020, Hong Kong's wide-ranging national security laws give Chinese authorities expansive powers over political and civic activity in the city. Some foreign authorities have criticized the law as a tool to crush dissent, while Beijing insists it is necessary to quell unrest. Close to 300 people have so far been arrested under the controversial law. But well, it's quite an interesting one. Yeah, they use the same law to quell whatever this and that is going on. And then, what do you do? Colorado Republicans have appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court after the state top court ruled Donald Trump was ineligible to run for president. The appeal means he will remain for now on the ballot for the Colorado primary. Last week, the ex-president was disqualified from running in the state for his alleged role in the 6th of January 2021 attack on the Capitol and the U.S. Capitol. Mr. Trump is the Republican frontrunner and is expected to be the party's candidate for the 2024 U.S. elections. In its appeal, the Colorado Republican Party legal team accused the state Supreme Court of fundamentally changing the course of American democracy. They added that their decision will distort the 2024 presidential election and will mere courts henceforth in the political controversies over nebulous accusations of insurrections. Now, Colorado is the only U.S. state to strike Mr. Trump from ballot under a U.S. constitutional clause called the 14th Amendment prohibiting anyone engaging in insurrection or rebellion from holding public office. Now, this was the first time this provision has ever been used since it was introduced after the American Civil War. But did he or didn't he? That is the question. You see, if I am in the wrong, say it. But don't pretend that though I'm in the wrong, you don't want to say it. But then when somebody does the same thing, then you will come and then chastise the person. You want to go to equity? You go with a clean hand. Did he incite people? Oh, well, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Okay. Starr Radio UK. 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's come to the UK front. In the UK front, a strong R in danger of disappearing across north of England study has found. The strong R sound at the end of words may be disappearing across the north of England, a study has found. Lancaster University researchers said rhotic speakers who pronounce R sounds in words like car, her, and bird were becoming a thing of the past across the region, with one exception. Dr. Daniel Totten said East Lancashire has remained an island of rhoticity. Now, however, the study said that even there, the strong R was in gradual decline among young speakers. Now, rhoticity is a term for speaking in an accent where an R is pronounced not only before a vowel, but also before a consonant or at the end of words. And Lancaster University representative said hundreds of years ago it was common in England to pronounce strong R's, but that has declined as the language evolved and has been most commonly documented in Cornwall and the West Country. Now, they said most sociolinguistic studies of rhoticity focus on the southwest and relatively little was known about it in the north. The study is timely because northern rhoticity is predicted to disappear in the next few generations, a process which is now complete in many areas of southwest, they added. So they want to take our R from there, so you can't say R, they say R. Okay, good. We'll go on. Okay. Well, listen to this song coming away from Starr Radio. Okay, we're going to be signing up or running up pretty soon. Let me pick one other story from the UK front, and then we go away. A Capeside collection of small electrical goods such as toasters and hairdressers And why am I saying hair dryers could be rolled out across the UK from 2026 and a government proposal to boost recycling. Now, ministers are also considering drop-off points in shops where households can recycle unwanted items for free. Now, retailers who will be made to collect unwanted larger electrical items when delivering replacements, customers will no longer be charged for collection on delivery services. Now, many retailers such as B&Q, John Lewis Carries currently offer a paid-for collection service for large electrical appliances when customers buy a similar one. Yes, it's true. Experienced that about a month plus ago. Yes, at home where we had to get another freezer, and they had to charge me. I think I paid £25. The reforms are part of the government plans to boost recycling, as it found 155,000 tons of smaller household electricals such as cables, toasters, kettles, power tools are wrongly thrown away each year. Now, about 500 tons of fairy lights are discarded at Christmas in the UK. The government estimates the ministers will engage with manufacturers, retailers, and small businesses throughout a 10-week consultation, which opens on Thursday. That's today. So let's see what happens on that front, so that now you can just put your fridge outside. Not the fridge you have to let those who deliver the other one take it, but you can put your toaster and all that. But I've been putting mine in my recycling, I chuck it in there. Okay, well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One final story where roofs have been blown off as tornado strikes town, and then thousands still without power after Storm Garrett hit the northern part of the country. And the story says that some properties, almost 8,000 homes, are still without power after Storm Garrett brought blizzards and flooding to Scotland. Now, 11 properties in Cooper, 5 were evacuated due to a flooding, while drivers on the A9 in the Highlands were stranded by snow on Wednesday evening. The road was shut at Scrapstar due to landslide, though one lane has reopened. The power company SSEN said customers in the northeast and Shetland have been worst affected, with some power outages likely to continue into Friday. Elsewhere in the UK, 100 homes were damaged after a localized tornado tore through the Tameside area of Greater Manchester. Rail services north of Perth and Dundee remained shut down on Thursday morning, and key routes between Aberdeen, Dundee, and Inverness were closed. Felix, get in touch. Let's know that you are doing very, very well. But listeners, this is where I bring the program to a close for today. God willing, tomorrow morning we'll be back with the final one for the big day. Yes, for the new year. So, as I would say once again, we're going to take a quick break. We come back and then I sign off. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa will provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure coming your way. I sign off with this tune from Kofi Boham, as I did play earlier on, and it says, writing names of talkatives. Don't let anybody put you down. Don't allow that to happen. You got something in you that is so strong. I know that you can make it, because I can make it, and we both can make it. So have a lovely day. Until I come your way tomorrow, stay blessed, and as we saw on this platform, may Nigeria not happen to you. Bye-bye for now.
It's no secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting
This is
your
Starr
time
Radio
like this?
UK.
Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts.
Thanks for listening.
Never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet, and tell them